I'm Zan Bradford. You're watching My Community, and we'll be right back.
Hello and welcome. It is your weekly program that has always been concerned with the virtual gathering. That is, the gathering that occurs on air and online. I'm Sherwood McCaskey, as always. Thanks for your time. It is a well-celebrated town known in many corners around the globe. While this program celebrates communities, we thought it important to pause and recognize the community of people that existed here in this small area known as Oistinstown many years ago. Stephen Cox, the son of Brenda Cox, whose name now dignifies the fishing complex here, leads the discussion. You will note how he honors a number of individuals who lived and worked here in Oistinstown.
Brenda and George Cox, those was my parents. I was around from small. Because I born home, I didn't born at the clinic, I born home in Welches. As far as I can recollect, my mother left in 1958, she went overseas, but my father would bring me right at the Prescotts, which was Joetta's parents. From there we would go to school in the morning because he would journey to go fishing. Most of the people from around the area went to what we call now Christchurch boys, which would be Water Street boys and girls. Back then, it still had the name Christchurch, you know, but most people used to call both Water Street boys and girls. Now it become Milton Lynch. When we come from school, we would go and change. When we leave, we would come back, hang out around the beach till he come in. But there was always food at the Prescotts. They had a door that never closed, that below side door. Right there where you see the Wilsons, below the Silver Fox Arcade, opposite, they were on the seaside. But they never had no paling or nothing because the sea was their backyard. When the sea is high or rough, you would go right underneath the cellar of the house. Sometimes you didn't even know ducks and things was on it there. You would just see them come out. But Papa tradition has throwing net and thing. When he leave and he go on the morning, he will come back in. He will bring frays, sprats, red ears, sometimes jacks. But when he done shake out that net for the ducks and the fowls and things to eat, don't care if the fish in the surf of the sea, he will tell leave them for another day because that net ain't getting wet again. That net going in the shot tree, when it come down from there, and going in the corner of the house, and that's his day's work. Mama, on the other hand, she will help with the kitchen, then she'll be out front trying to get rid of the sprats or frays. You had vendors then, you had like Charlotte, you had Miss Giddens, you had one or two other vendors who come and collect. They will get their tray, they will head out, all up in Lodge Road, Goyle, different places, trying to employ that trade. But that house was always a blessed house. Anybody was welcome there to get a meal of food. Yeah, the Prescotts. Pat's place. She also raised at that house. Her mother was one. Papa and Mama children. So she raised there. All we raised there together. We would come up on the beach in the morning, look around, because they had the fever house at the time, the old infirmary. I remember on one morning we came at the beach and we saw two small like bodies. And we went back home in the house and keeping quiet. Remember Eleanor saying something wrong. Them inside too early and they keeping quiet. When they went at the beach, they find the two little babies. They said they didn't know something had to be wrong that we come back in. It was always fun there. Always fun around the place.
And it happened here in Oistinstown. Now, as it relates to the built landscape, how the buildings were interspersed throughout this community.
As far as the old Oistin is concerned, you had the standpipe. Next to the infirmary was a bath where you could go and bathe.
Then the fight was the open space.
But between the space that she talking about, the boats used to haul up between there. You had a set of boats that can haul up there.
Passed by that open space, you see they had the Salvation Army. Below the Salvation Army.
Well, you get the police station, the Dynamo, the police station. This sidewalk was the police station, you know, this sidewalk. All of the houses on the seaside, you're stepping in the road. You're stepping in the road. It's just the step. If you get up top the step, or you're in the road.
Below the police station was the open space.
Where the fella can sell the diesel. And in that space between there and the market, you'll get a couple more boats will haul up there. Or the Moses, the small Moses, when they come in with the fishing day, they will go there, take them out in the wire baskets, put them out in front, because at the time you in the market, then you had tables. You got the vendors cutting the dolphin and the baskets lying alongside the streets, and they're shouting out for flying fish or dolphin. Then you had Barnett. But after Barnett passed away, that was the same house that the Dynamics used to practice in. They used to practice upstairs. The bottom was a little laundry, and our first bank in Oyston was inside there, Barclays Bank. That was inside there first, and it moved from there, and it come further up. Yeah, Barclays Bank was there first. Then you had the supermarket. But you had Darcy Scott first, and then you had Hills. After Hills, a variety store went in there, but then they changed it up and make it in different apartments. Like.
You're watching My Community, and we'll be right back.
Oyston was a real good town. And as Mr. St. John said, it was the sleeping town that got awakened. Because you had Miss Busher there, her picture went all over the world. Drinking a coconut with the apron tie on. That time you know, she get them small pictures. And she was happy for that day. There was a guy called Bobby Fox, he always used to be there. Then Miss Lashley, the Eudora mother, she would come down with the bananas, touch mangers. A touch manga is a manga that becomes a bit soft, you know what I mean? It got a little pick in it, so it won't sell the same way as the average hard mangas. So we would call that a touch manga. Some people would call them sour-pouch mangas. I be in mind, because you're glad to get a little taste in them up. So even the oranges, sometimes when they become thing, she would cut off. Sometimes she got a little salt there, dip it in there, or hate to see, wet it inside there. There you go, you start eating it every day. Name fruits, whatever she going to and get, she will come and sit down there. Sundown you come in off the beach, you get your little penny or anything, and go and you get a penny of mangoes or anything, so you sit down and enjoy life.
Makes you wish that you were part of those early days of celebration here in the Oystons community. Let us continue the tour and celebrate, among others, the Greenwich family and learn of the story of the Dio Valente.
You had the Greenwiches. And the Greenwiches was famous. That was our main store in Oyston. You couldn't get fishing line, you couldn't get clothes, you couldn't get shoes, you couldn't get cloth, you couldn't get anything you name. That was like our Fogarty and Woolworth and 5 and 10 put together. Everything was inside there. The above side was the cloth area, the below side, you could get rope or anything. They had fishing boats too, you know. So that's mainly why they get into that business. But right where the Lucky Sevens is being built, which is the Silver Fox Arcade, there was an open space. They had a boat built there named the Dio Valente. That the same Babe Fleming, he looked after that, because when it shut off and it went in the sea, it actually went bottom. And they hauled it up above the Salvation Army, repaired it and put it back in the sea. That is mainly because some of the seams in the bottom wasn't caught properly. So the water fill it up, but the fellas haul it back up. And then there wasn't a tractor or nothing. You would get like rollers or telephone poles or electrical poles, and you put down some bedding under it, and you get a rope, and you were hauling for Billy, and you pull it ashore. That's how they used to pull up the boats, Cindy.
And of course, there was a reason for doing that. Now, speaking about fishing boats, over the years, the fisher folks here in Oistins have witnessed a number of unfortunate events that occurred at sea.
There was Andy, the guy we used to call JJ, and Smithy Joe, which is David Smith. They didn't leave here on board the Retrial. And they was out for over 29 days. Because we had given up hope on them. They went on an ice trip and they encountered some problems. We had given up hope after so long. But they did end up in Honduras. They ended up in Honduras because they drift down, and JJ, he never had fear in him. He see like a fish pot, and he took the squealer line and went and tied the boat onto it. And the people watched them for 3 days because they was trying to observe whether there was pirates or not. And after they see they wasn't moving, they came to the rescue to give them water and everything. They carry in the boat and everything, and we welcomed them back home. All of us went on Straker truck and different things, went to the airport and welcomed them back home because we were happy to see them. But then there was Theophilus and a guy named Geek. His right name is Orville Gale. He lives in Canada now at T-Pass Sound. There went adrift on X7. He reborn.
The missing men are Theophilus Coppin, aged 32 and father of 4, and Orville Gale, aged 26. They are both from Christchurch. They left Oistins last Thursday morning in their boat, the Reborn, in search of flying fish, but failed to return to port. The Barbados Government Fisheries Department has been informed, and local shipping and airlines have been alerted to look out for the men, who have been missing now for 4 days.
Meanwhile, Belinda Cox was forceful in expressing her thoughts about the situation and the plight of the fishermen.
Sad news. I'm glad to meet you, my gentleman. We lost 2 fishermen 6 days ago. Not to know, nobody to tell us what happened, what become of them. Fishermen have a tough life here in this country. Nobody don't know what hell they see. Some days they get something, some days nothing. Those 2 youngsters gone out. The poor mother come here every evening, weeping morning, noon and night. She rely on her son to give her support. A son who she has 16 years after she had all the rest of children. He have 4 children. Nobody at all to help them. Nobody at all. It is hurtful, hurtful, hurtful when they gone out in those Billy Ocean. Nobody at all to give her anything whatsoever. And no, we can't hear a word. We don't know where them is. Only God knows.
On the other side of the community, there was a congregation of believers who seemed to have concurred with Belinda Cox. Only God knew where they were. They quickly convened a prayer meeting in the Salvation Army, petitioning God for the safe return of the fishermen to Barbados. And they carefully selected Jesus Savior, pilot me o'er the world's tempestuous seas.
Song 579. Jesus Savior, pilot me over night and tempestuous seas, until day before me, Lord, hide in love and precious joy, that I found the ground from thee.
Later in that week, the mother of one of the missing sons responded to questions from a member of the media.
When did you first hear that your son was missing?
Well, I heard the Friday being out the Thursday, and the Friday I went down to Austin Town, and someone tell me that he didn't come in the Thursday. See, so he didn't hear not tell the Friday.
What sort of a boy is your son?
He's just like your house, so, you know, just as your house, so. Have as much soul as you too.
Is he a good son?
Yes, he's fair to me all right.
Did he support you?
Yes.
So how are you managing now?
Well, any person will offer me anything, you know. Anybody will give me a dollar bill or two. The son here will give me anything too.
It's now 12 days.
13 days today.
13 days since he's missing.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about this?
Well, I feel a little better now because I found him. You get it?
Okay, let's cut there out.
They went adrift on that day. They was taken up on a ship. And fortunately enough, they get back to Barbados.
Here's a news flash. We've just heard that the 2 Barbados fishermen who've been missing at sea for 12 days have been rescued. They were picked up by a steamer 70 miles east of Antigua after drifting in their small boat for more than 300 miles. The men were without food or water for the past 9 days, but according to the ship's doctor, they are quite well. Stay tuned to Radio Barbados for the latest on the news scene.
I believe that the tide pushed out through the sea and moved it off the land. So we was off course for a long time, being not eating or not drinking. When it gets praying for the rainfall to get some water to keep us alive. Well, you asked me when I know.
When did you know that you were in trouble? When did you sense there was something wrong?
Well, 2 hours after, the engine was hot, so I checked on it 2 hours after and take off the top of the thing. The head is called a rocker box, and I sounded the valves, and I found the valves wasn't sounding, so I just take it up, and I found it was broke. So I told him there's no way out, barn drifting, there's something picks us up.
There's enough encounters of people missing at sea and different things like that. I had a cousin of mine, he lost his life at sea too. He came from Fair Valley Rocks. But my generation is mainly from Fair Valley Rocks.
You're watching My Community, and we'll be right back.
Now on to characters and how they brought joy and excitement to the community of Oistins.
Plenty characters in Oistin, and you know to get good fun from them. Because when you see coming up to the 5th of November, seeing Mr. Branger there, he knows to start you off because he knows to sell bandits, starlights, firecrackers, everything he knows to sell. And he would like the first one and throw it above on the character we had in Seymour. And there you go. Then there would be Moy, Finn Moy. He would come and he would throw in one, because you just want the fun of it. Nothing mainly to, like, you know, but you just want the fun. So then you had, like, there was a guy called Fonza. If you take off his hat, make sure he got speed, because he was very fast and he ain't going home without that hat. So what would happen, a little group of us would be walking, and the first man, he would pick off his hat. And by the time the last man get there, he got good speed, because everybody running now. Even the same Akis and thing, you go just forget a little fun, you go and pick 2 bunch of Akis, but you pull the person gate. And they will run out at you, and you will run.
That Akis tree was, the Akis was so sweet that we used to murder that there and thieving. We go picking Akis when we were trying, then we come right away back up.
It's just fun. Nothing, it was never violent, nothing like you want to beat the body or nothing. Because they know you only coming for a couple of keys or mangoes or anything. Even inside the Ashby's yard, there had dogs and things inside there. And the fellas still used to go over the fence. Because the watchman, Tanny, he ain't want you getting in. The fellas go up in the tree and pick what they want, let go some at the dogs, and run. It was just fun in Oyston. Yeah, very wonderful days. You could never go sleep hungry unless you want to go sleep hungry. You could always swim out to the boats. The fishermen can bring back what they used to call them grub. Sometimes when they give you 2 or 3 of them dumplings, and you don't eat them, you drop overboard, and you can bottom if you can't swim. If you got a bad tooth, when you bite, you teeth inside that dumpling. Sometimes they put the dumpling in the sail for the next morning, just clean them also, eat them going out fishing. It was always fun in Oyston. Oyston was a fun-loving place.
Once again, you wish that your childhood days were spent here on this location in Oystons. Well, it was regarded as the liveliest Friday night lineman spot in the Eastern Caribbean. In fact, it is listed on the tourist brochures as one of the things you must do while you're in Barbados. But how did it all begin?
Saturday night was a fun night. It was even better when Friday night kick off for Oyston, but Saturday night was the main night. Because you would come down, you would meet people going to the Greenwiches to shop. Sunday there was so much people trying to get in the shop. The shop can close for 8 o'clock. But all of them 9:30, people still waiting. But as one come out, they will let in one. They will let in and let in till everybody is being satisfied. Because as I told, that was our major store in Oyston. Branco, on the other hand, he ain't getting close because he just live upstairs. But the Greenwiches, they live above and upstairs too. But they want to satisfy everything. They want to satisfy everybody. So even on a Sunday then, you go through the small gate and you call on the below side. They will let you in and get where you want. Make sure that you're happy. So that was our general store in Oyston, the Greenwiches. People come from all about just to shop there.
My grandmother, the first body that started selling free cakes on a Friday and Saturday night. Mr. St. John, he used to send down a dish every Friday night and every Saturday night between he, Mr. Branco, Mr. St. John, Lionel Craig, and all of them used to meet me at Mr. Branco's place on a Friday and Saturday night for this fish cake, this free cake that my grandmother used to make Friday night and Saturday night. Oyston didn't only start at Oyston, no. Oyston was ever Oyston from the time I was a child. Because my cousin, Miss Foster, them used to make black pudding and so I had a man named Joshy that when he used to go and see Miss Foster, you done sell black pudding and you done, because he used to heap up some big rocks, conch shells and everything. And when he see those done sell the fish and thing, and sell the black pudding and sauce and thing, and put it then tray up on the head, he moved thing, because people from all about used to come and Oyston on Friday and Saturday night. Just like how it is now, people from all Edie village, all about used to come and Oyston on a Friday night and Saturday night. Because the Salvation Army used to go, they open their service. They had a woman named Marie Dean. When you see she start on a Saturday night with the Salvation Army, the whole Oyston got crowded with people because she used to be the beautiful drum and kill at the Salvation Army. That the lady named Miss Dean, Marie Dean. And I could remember small, I could remember all those things, I could still remember.
I remember back in 1 year, I went to opening of a nightclub. They invited me for the opening ceremony. When I went there, I saw Mr. St. John, his wife, and some friends. And that nightclub was more for young people. So we didn't enjoy it. We stayed, paid respect, shit, and then we left. I recently said I want to go to Baxter's Road. So he took me to Baxter's Road with my old friend Collins and had chicken and fish and the works, and everybody came and speaking to Mr. St. John. When we done, He said, Digger, want to take a walk up the road? And you know, he got his strap, these head braces. And you walk up down to the top of Baxter's Road, looking at every shop, the Pink Star, the Enage. And he was impressed that he see a lot of tourists and white people shop in Baxter's Road. He was so impressed, he come back and he said, Digger, I am going to bring Baxter's Road to Oistins, and it's going to be better than Baxter's Road, and I done with it. And then the little place started, the corner there where Joetta talked about, the little wooden buildings, he started out there.
In all of this, there is a special place for the founder of the Oistins Fish Festival, Lady St. John. Her contribution will be detailed in another series when we take an in-depth look at Oistins Town.
They can remember when they had fish festival, he come on the day and he asked us why we don't fry fish for the fish festival. Me, Miss Keith and String start first. That's how you see Oistins start with the fry bear. He asked us to fry the fish for a night, for a week, and we start. And that's how you see the fry bear. Then Mr. St. John turned to me and tried to take everybody that upon the road selling fish. His sister used to sell, Stephen's sister with Margaret, used to sell down by Whiteman Shop. At that time it was Whiteman Shop then. She used to send Mr. St. John then say we're going to put all of them in one space, and he started the fry bear. He said I'm going to start the fry bear. There was 3 shops that he opened after Oistins. Start to lick down Oistins now, because you see can lick down Oistins, actually to lick down Oistins.
The pace may seem a little slow to many of you, but I want to assure you that one cannot expend sums in the vicinity of $3 to $4 million in the sea without proper pre-planning.
Come with the jetty, the new market and everything. Oistins start then to develop. When we say no tricks in 76, Oistins start lick down either in 78 or 79, I can't remember the time. And then he start, that's how Oistins then start.
And God rest Mr. St. John in his grave for making such a beautiful place now, the how it is.
The rest is history.
This was a mere glimpse of the community of Oistins as the people of Christchurch continue to celebrate the sea. It calls for an extended series and further research. As I have done in the past, I will encourage our students to give some thought to researching this community and detailing its contribution to the economic transformation of the area. It would make for a very good dissertation. This has been Mind Community Christchurch. Until next week at the same time, I'm Sherwood McCaskey. It's goodbye for now.